going to show you how to make this kind of dress without under bust cut or band. The first thing is to cut your armhole. You cut your armhole, and this is how you do your armhole. I cuff it after getting the point. My armhole is 7. For this particular point is 7.5. So, and this is my under bust fitness. This is my waist, and of course my hips. I actually divided the measurement by 4. Then I had 2 inches sewing allowance. The bust of that person is 40. The under bust fitness is 34. Her hips is 41. I divided it by 4, then add 2 inches allowance while cutting. This is the neck. So I made the neck just 3.5. Depending on how wideness you want the neck to be, depend on the person you are sewing it for. So I slit it. Actually slit it in the middle. Yeah, I did. I slit it in the middle. That was 4 inches from where I stopped for the neck. Depend on how you want it, how deep you want your slit to go. So I did 4 inches. This is the front part. This is my armhole. Cut out my arm, and of course this is the upper part, the one I will be splitting on the gown at on the fitness, the under bust fitness. I measure it to be 16. Yes, 16, because the person under bust is 14, so I'll be pleating that on 16 inches. So this is the one I'll be pleating at the half length to make it longer. The person full length is 57, and I make the half length 34. With sewing allowance, that's 36. But this particular one, 25. The normal length is 23. With the sewing allowance, that's 25. I make it very wide, depending on how you want the pleating to be full. This is the sleeve. I've already cut the sleeve. This is the way I usually cut my sleeve here. Cuff it at the edge. I like cutting my sleeve this way. So I have the one I'm going to pleating at the edge too. The full sleeve length of the person is 23. So I cut the upper part 15, and I cut this 10. So making 25. By the time I'm finished sewing, it's going to be 23. Yes, that's for the sleeve. This is the trimmings I'll be using. I'll be sewing on the cloth to make it look like a princess cut. Now I've torn it with my lining. That's my front. This is my front part. That's the back. This is how the front look like after sewing. I've torn it with my lining, and I've joined the shoulder. Now I used my chalk to draw out the princess line, as if I want to cut a princess cut, and I'm going to be sewing on that line. You have to be good in your measurement if you want to do these steps. This is for people that don't really pay you that much. You don't want to stress yourself, and you want it to look exactly like what they actually want, as if you had an under bust cut. So you have to be very good in measurement. If you're not good in measurement, you can't get this right. So I've already drawn out my princess dart, as if I want to cut it out, but I'm not cutting. I'm just going to sew my trimmings on it. So the under bust of that particular person is 14, so I'm stopping at 14, and I'll use the trimming to cover it at the head, since I don't have any joining there. I have another shock 2 inches after the upper part, and that's 16. That's where I'll be doing my pleating. That's where the pleating will be, to make it look like a top or a gown, depending on how you want it, or how the perspective you are looking at it. So I've gone to sew on it. In fact, I've joined the sides. I've joined the side with the accurate measurement. You can see I've already joined the side with the accurate measurement, and this is the whole length. This is how it's going to look after sewing your trimmings on it with that princess cut line, to make it look as if you actually had the princess cut. And this is how it looks, the full length. This is just 36. If the half length is 34, and with 2 inches 36. So I've done the pleating. I've pleat for the sleeve too. I've pleat at the head of the sleeve. Yes, I've already pleat at the head of the sleeve. And I've pleat on the gown at 16. The trim is actually is on 14. The last point of that trim is 14. Then I pleat on the 6 to make it look as if there is a band. But there isn't a band, just a joining. There's no joining, just the trimmings, and I pleat on it. So the next is to pleat at the edge now. I have the length already. I just have to pleat at the edge. And this is my sleeve. After joining my sleeve, I just join it to my armhole to make it look nice.